Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope... Whoopsie! Starlight's got to get a little adjusted more. So I'm actually... There we go. So anyway, I love you so much. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And you can find me on YouTube. And that is at Starlight. And that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus... Thank you to all of you who have been here from the beginning and maybe, in the middle, or maybe you just joined me a couple of days ago. I just want to say a huge thank you. Yay! For all of you that are here with Starlight. And also is to anyone that's out there, this is my YouTube channel, Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus, thank you for all of you who give me thumbs up on my YouTube channel. Yay! I really appreciate all of you. You know who you are, the ones that give me a thumbs up. And Starlight doesn't always know who's giving me thumbs up. So I appreciate all of you. Yay! For all of you that are inspiring me. And also, thank you for those of you out there who leave Starlight a comment down below. Thank you so much for all of you. Yay! For all of those that are brave and they reach out to say, hello, Starlight. Maybe a comment on my video or something. Thank you for being brave and not holding back and leaving me a comment. Yay! And also, those of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you for all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Woohoo! Yay! For all of you. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can through my Instagram, and that's 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. And the best thing I could say is because I don't have those apps on my phone because of storage, is you can let me know, hey, I'm going to reach out to you if you want to, have more of a private conversation. If you got any questions, please feel free to let me know, hey, I'm going to ask you a question, on Instagram or Facebook, and I will get to the library and go there and check out your message or your question. So also, if anybody would love to send any love donations, you can through my Cash App, and I will have that information here. Ding! There it is. Now is tonight is enough is enough. Enough is enough. I get messages all the time, and I get information everywhere. I never know what I'm going to come up with as far as the topic goes, but enough is enough. This is for people that enough is enough. You know what? I know if I don't get my shit together, I could feel it. I could feel like I need to start doing something right now, because I've been there too many times. I could feel something, but I don't understand that enough is enough. Something's happening in my life. Things are kind of getting uncomfortable in my life. I'm not happy at work. You might not be happy, with the people that you're spending time with, or maybe the loved one that you have in your life. Maybe, that you're having a hard time with finances, and your thing, with bills and money flow and stuff like that. And enough is enough. I met a man not too long ago, he sees what I'm doing. He comes from a really good family that brought him up right. Well, that I know of, not that there's a perfect family out there, but he's got morals. And he sees what I'm doing, and he's like, wow, he inspires me for doing what I'm doing. But he's like, you know what? I would love to be where you are, but I can't. Why not? Well, because, I got habits. I like to smoke my marijuana. I'm not ready to do that right now. Enough is enough. There are some people, they had enough of that too. They know that those things are not really doing it for them anymore, and they know that they need to let those things go. Are you going to be one of those people that says enough is enough? You know, I've had it. I've had it with the, you know, the lies out in the world. I've had it with, you know, not being happy at my job. I've had it with not being happy with my relationships. You know, enough is enough. You know what? You're going to feel this energy around you when the universe, God, whoever you want to call and name it, is the universe is going to work on your heart and your mind and give you no rest. And that's exactly what happened to me. When you feel like, man, I got to take action. Enough is enough. I got to take action now. I got to do something because I feel like my life is slipping away. I feel like I've lost touch of something here in my reality, and I don't know what it is, but I can feel the energy. Have you ever been there? I've been. Before I got in this situation, that's exactly where I was. In 2023, you know, this is I don't even know what, March. So March is when I started my YouTube channel in 2023. And after that, you know, I knew I took a big, huge step of faith doing what I did. Having a cleaning business that was spiraling. The universe, we're not in control like we think we're, you know, you think you're in control. You know what? That's what you think. Just because you think you're in control, hang on, I gotta change the lighting or something here. Sorry, Starlight's gotta get adjusted. This is the time of the night when these things shifts. And that's why Starlight needed to do this video now. Woo! So enough is enough. Enough of the excuses. You know, listen to everybody else and, you know, what everybody else has to say. You know, they're content where they are, but you're not. You're like, you know, there's a lot of people that are faking it to make it, and it's not going to work because there's a lot of shit happening. There's a lot of shifts happening in this universe, in this reality, and you might not be aware of it. You know, this is the quickening time right now. That's why time is speeding up. That means that, you know what? You don't have all the time in the world like you think you do. And I'll tell you what, when the universe pushed me, you know, to do what I need to do, I knew I didn't have a lot of time. That meant I had to take action. That means that I had to, you know, let go of what I was holding so tight on to my business, you know, when I had my cleaning business. And I got to bring up this lady, and I think her name is Rachel. She's not going to watch this video because she doesn't know about my YouTube channel, but I met this lady, and it's a beautiful thing that she's doing, and doors are going to open up. Everything, you know, whatever she's going through, whatever her dreams are, the universe is going to bust those doors open, and things are going to happen to this lady, because I have never met anybody like this. I've had to do it myself. I know what it's like letting go of everything in your house and just giving it away. I did try to sell some of it, but most of it, I left my apartment full of stuff when I left New York. My brand new bed, you know, only had it for a few months, you know, so everything I left behind, you know, not everything, but everything that I couldn't take with me or couldn't get rid of or didn't have the gas to drop it off somewhere. I left a lot of stuff behind and just let them deal with it. But this lady that I met the other day, I didn't know, but I was actually waking up, got my cup of coffee, gonna go to the park, gonna meditate, and it's like, oh wow, there's something on the side of the road for free, and it was early in the morning. It was a yard sale, free, you know, a lot of signs that said free, and I'm like, ooh, this chair that I'm sitting on, it's too funny. I'm like, you know what, I've been wanting, you know, this is how it works, you know, I've been asking the universe for other chairs because I have a little hideout spot out here, you know, and it was my hideout. It was my 5D fort years ago when I used to live here, but somebody destroyed it, and I came out here. I've been working on picking all the garbage up that they threw around. It was my stuff, most of it, but some of it I found in bushes, you know, in bottles and all that, and I painted them all up and decorated them or whatever. But I wanted a chair out there so I didn't have to carry one back and forth. And, you know, it's amazing because I just seen the chairs. I didn't know about, you know, I seen bikes out there, and I seen this and that, furniture and odds and ends. And so I turned around, parked in the driveway, and I get out of my car, and I'm looking at all this stuff, and there's no price tags on anything. Everything is free. The bike is free. And I'm like, I got the chairs, I put those in my car, and I'm like, woo, I was happy. And then the lady came out, she was bringing more stuff out, and I said, man, I can't believe it. You're giving us these bikes away. You know, she goes, yes. She goes, you know what? I'm giving away everything. I'm like, what? Yeah, we're just getting rid of everything. We're just giving it away. And she goes, please, you know, like, come back and forth all day, you know, because I'm going to be putting stuff out here all day long, you know, on this yard here, and just give it all away for free. I'm like, holy shit. And so when I seen the bike, I was thinking of a homeless chick that I've been helping out. At least I thought she was homeless. I mean, the way, you know, her daily activities, you know, just like a homeless person. I've been feeding her, giving her water just like a homeless person, giving her coffee like a homeless fruit, you know, like a homeless person. And I seen the bike, and I was thinking of her. It was like, man, she's on foot. She doesn't have a car. Man, she would love to have this bike. Really beautiful blue husky. No, that's a husky. Some kind of bike. Anyway, hopefully I remember what the name of that bike is. But and I was just, my mind was like, man, how can I get this bike to this lady, you know? And so the lady was hearing me, and I inspired. I said, you know what, God, the universe is doors are gonna open up to you. You are amazing, because, you know, I met a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people. Everybody's holding tight onto things. They want to, you know. I met people that had a house that their mother passed away, and that mother was a hoarder. Had all kinds of, it was a big house. Two men that I'm thinking of, they had houses that was full of stuff. Their mothers passed away. Those houses were loaded with all kinds of goodies in there. Now, the one guy I actually worked for did a day, like a whole day job there to actually clean up the place, and because he was going to fix one room at a time, you know. And what it is both of these guys, the same kind of story, is they both wanted to sell all this stuff. They wanted to get money. You know, the one guy was really stressed out because he needed the stuff out of the house. So, you know, him and his family is going to move in the house, but it's loaded with stuff. Every single room, tons of stuff, antiques, all this stuff. And I said, wow, you know, man, they got people, you know, you just give them a price and they take the whole thing, you know, you don't even have to deal with it. But you know what? People are so worried, you know, is about how much money they can get, not knowing if they just gave it all away, just here, take it, you know, get it out of the house. Now the house is empty. Now you don't have nothing in your way, and you can work on the house. That was one scenario. The other one was, the other man had a smaller house full of stuff. He wanted to do exactly what Starlight was doing, or is doing. He had even I think he was selling his motor home, actually a big home, but he wanted to travel around. He wanted to get away, but he had this house that had a lot of stuff. And this was even worse than they both were bad stories. But he goes, but I can't, because I got all this stuff here, and I want to fix the house up, and I want to sell it. Well, you know what? if he just gave the stuff away, took a step of faith, and sold the house without doing any work on it, by taking that step of faith and just doing it, just like this lady, she's just doing it. She's just giving everything away because she's going to be going through countries and stuff like this. She's got dreams. She didn't tell me what her dreams were, but I said, whatever you got going on, it's going to be, busted open, whatever you're doing, because she's not holding tight on all this stuff. And so enough is enough. Is there something that's holding you back? Are there people holding you back? Do you got stuff that you're like, yeah, but this and yeah, but that, I want to do this and I want to do that, but you're letting people, I've heard a lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to do what you're doing, but I got family here. I want to do this, but this. I want to do that, but that. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. You know what? Everything will work out if you just do it now. Do it now. I just talked to a guy today. He saw my vehicle, and first thing he's like, hey, do you live in your car? Are you traveling? And I'm like, I was traveling, but yeah, pretty much I was, am. And I go, yeah. And he's like, I'm living in my car too. And he's like, and I told him, oh, I've traveled all around the United States. And he's like, I want to do the same thing. But what? But what? What is it that's keeping you stuck? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Are you tired of being in that relationship that you're being drained from, and you're not? It isn't. You can't even call it a freaking relationship. You don't even sleep. You don't even sleep together. You're not even spending time together. You just found a friend that will help you pay. They're not even paying you rent. They're not even helping out on the bills, because I'll tell you what, that stuff does go on. And you're just putting up with it, right? You're just putting up with it because you don't want to make a fuss. You don't want to stir things up or anything like that. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. The guy that I met today, he actually was living somewhere, but the lady was a toxic person, and it was driving him freaking nuts. Enough is enough. You could set yourself free from those kind of horrible toxic energy, and family members that don't give two shits about you. Because I'll tell you what, there's people, when you start growing, you'll really start finding out who your real family are. Those are the ones that are going to be there even when you start changing and when you start growing. They're still going to be there. There's going to be people that you got to let go of, and it's a painful experience, but God will bless you. The universe will bless you in ways that you wouldn't even imagine, and you're not always going to know what the blessings are. Things that you're asking for, and things that, your health. You might have health issues. I'll tell you what, by making the right choice and just say, enough is enough. I've had it. I've been trying to be good to you, I've been trying to, help you out, like in a relationship or a family or friends, and all I get is a short stick, short end of the stick. Every time I get the short end of the stick. Enough is enough. I'm not going to pretend anymore. I'm tired of pretending. We got to let go of those people that are just using us, taking our time and, discouraging us, being a big distraction in life. How about that job? Enough is enough. You're not even happy. I know people right now, it's so sad. They don't even have a relationship because money is coming in before. They don't even have time to spend with their family to, don't even call me back, because why? They're making money. Hey, you know how much money I'm making? But what kind of life do you have? You're making lots of money, but you don't even have a life to live. You got a lot of money. Now you feel better. A lot of couples do this shit. It's a competition who's making more money, so when they talk to other people, they can brag about how much money each one is making. Hey, now I'm making more money than you. Before, you were making more money than me. But now, I got this job, and I'm making a lot more money now. And, which they could have had more money if they started their own business instead of working for another company. but they won't listen to anybody. They think they got it all figured out. They don't want to take that step of faith. They don't want to, they don't believe in themselves. Other people have faith for them, but they don't even believe in themselves to take that step. I did that step. I took that step, starting my own business with nothing. You know? Starting a cleaning business while living in my car. How do you do that? I did it. So if I could do it with, I had to actually get a job at nighttime, and I had so much cleaning experience. I've worked for several companies for cleaning. And you know what? I started saving that money, getting my equipment that I needed, and started my own cleaning business. It took time. And then I had to let go. I had a choice one day. My one boss that I was working for, he's like, either you don't start your business or you work for me, because you can't have your business and work for my company. Huh? That's how I started my cleaning business, just like that. I was making money, and he's like, hey, you're either going to work for me, and that's the road I took. I took not working for him to start my own cleaning business. I couldn't believe it. I worked for that man for 3 years, and that's what happened. I let go of working for a company to actually start my business. When you take that leap of faith, and you just do like this lady, I am so proud of her. I told her, I'm like, wow, you're doing something most people don't do. Most people, they have all this, I want to do this and I want to do this, but enough is enough. Put the excuses away. Keep on putting it off on the back burner that you're going to do something next week. Why live in a relationship? Why be with somebody in a relationship that you're miserable? Starlight will refuse. I'd rather be single, living on my own, to have, a peace of mind for a change, not freaking, living in fear every day of being with somebody that's not good for you. Enough is enough with working for companies that you're miserable with, or you don't even have a time to live, So you gotta make this leap like this lady is. She's given everything away. That bike that I was telling you about earlier, how I was just thinking about the homeless lady, is the lady that was outside. She was such a sweetheart. I felt so bad, and I told her I helped the homeless people with food and this and that, and she inspired me, and I was really inspiring her a lot with her choice and what she was doing. I was so proud of her, because she's the first one I ever met like this in person. And so anyway, here my car is loaded in the back. It's got my blankets and other stuff, and I'm trying to get that bike in the back of the back seat. And I'm like, man. She goes, here, I can come over and help. I'm like, oh, thank you. So we're like, how is this gonna, this is really hard, because the bike is the front wheel, and it's a beautiful husky bike. No, it's not a husky bike, but I don't know, it starts with an H. Anyway, she goes, hey, I have a bike rack. You can put it on your car, and then you can carry it. I'm like, oh, well, I'm so sorry that I'm doing this to you. And she goes, no, because we're giving that away for free too. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And this is so funny how this ended up working out. So I didn't know anything about how to put a bike rack on a vehicle like an SUV, and I was like, how is this gonna work? I figured she knew what she was doing, so we both she kind of guided me to know how to do it. So we got that bike on there and all that. I left so she can get back to her work, and I went down the hill. Of course I said thank you, because I really wanted to help this homeless chick out that I thought was homeless. So I don't know what her situation is fully, but anyway, I drive down the hill, and I'm figuring, hey, I could get rid of the bike rack somewhere, and because I'm like, oh great, now I had a pump that goes with the bike. So because I took that pump for the lady. So make sure her tires are good. And it's amazing how I went down the hill, looked for the lady, bam, she was right there. You know, it's just perfect time. And she was walking on the sidewalk, and I'm like, hey, I yelled out and waved at her. I go, I got a bike for you. And she looked at me, she's like, I can't take it. I don't have any storage. And I was like, huh? Okay, so I drove off, and I'm thinking, what am I gonna do? I wanted a bike this whole time. I wanted a bike for years, but I didn't have the, you know, I lived on a second floor apartment where I used to live out here, and there was no freaking way I was gonna carry a bike up and down those stairs. It would be dangerous, you know, and there was no place to stick it outside at that point because there was only like a little walkway, a little small little porch. But now it's a big ass porch, you know, with the porch would have been great. But I wanted a bike for a long time to get exercise. And so, you know, it's so funny, the universe was giving me that bike. Here, I was just thinking about this lady, and the more I kept on thinking about it, I'm like, I got the bike rack, a bike, and a pump. And I was thinking, how, you know, before I couldn't think of how I ever would do this because I live in my car. So now Sterling has got this bike rack, you know, and a bike and a pump. And I'll tell you what, I'm a happy little pea in a pod because the last 2 days, you know what, I got that bike and I rode it. So now, instead of taking 40 minutes to get to my little hiding place, it takes me 15 minutes that I can save on each day when I go out to that place to get alone, out in nature, do meditations or do some cleanup and fun stuff out there. But it's amazing what happens. God is going to bless this lady for doing it, just letting go and just doing it, you know. And it's amazing. I've never met any. I am like that chick, but I never met another person like that in my whole life that just said, I'm just giving it all away. That is what you got to do. I'm just getting out of this toxic relationship. You know what? I've been putting this off and putting it off. I keep on thinking it's going to get better. One of these days, you know, I could put up with this shit. I could put up with this shit. How many more years are you going to put up with this shit? That job? You freaking can't. You know what? You dread it every time when you go there. You're like, I don't want to go there. The energy is toxic. Or, you know, I go there, yeah, the money's good, but I don't even have a life. My relationship is, you know, we barely even see each other anymore. You know, my family, they've been holding me back. They're like, we don't want to see you move. We want you right here. What do we do? What are you going to do? You're going to move out? You want to move? No, we don't want you to move. We want you to stay right here. We don't want you, Starlight, we don't want you to move out of New York. I'll tell you, when I said I'm like, all this happened, nobody wanted me to move out of New York. I had people that says, they had all these fear things that, oh, this could happen, and oh yeah, the bugs can get in your car, and yeah, watch out for the insects out there. Oh, they got alligators out in Florida, Ma. But hey, not my will, but God's will. I'm really not in control like I thought I was. So enough is enough. Enough with the excuses. Yeah, but I'll do it next year. I'll do it, you know. Be like this lady and myself that just let it all go. Give it all away, you know. Because when you give it away, God will bless you more than what you even imagine, you know. Because when you give, and you do it with the right heart and you just let it go, you know, if you got stuff. And there's people that won't get out of a relationship because they got stuff. What am I going to do with all my stuff? Get the blink out of the house and go. Forget about all that stuff. You know, there's a lot of people that are in abusive relationships. They don't want to fucking leave their shit. You know what? They'd rather go through the abuse in the relationship instead of letting go of the, you know, instead of letting go of all this material garbage. They would rather put themselves at risk with an abusive person, whether it's a male or female, ladies, guys, they rather put up with all this stuff because they got stuff in their house and they have nowhere to store it. They're like, hey, can you help me? You know, I don't have anywhere to stick all my stuff. And so that's the excuse and reason why they're still stuck in that relationship, is because of stuff, material stuff. They're not thinking about their well-being. Did you know if you just get out of there, I don't have anywhere to go. You know what? It's taking a step. There's people out there, there's places that can help you. You know, there's ways about doing things that you can get the help, you know, and get out. There's always a way. There's always a solution. You got to think outside the box, different angles. You got to talk to people, ask people, you know, but you don't want to get yourself in another situation where, you know, you're around toxic people again. So enough is enough. You got to do something, and you got to do it right now. I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.